This is a unit review video of Mythic Seiros. I will be discussing different builds and AR defense team comps that I consider being valuable with her. It could be an offensive AR defense such as Return Plus on turn 1, or it could be a very defensive AR defense that I am working on right now, a stall team creating reposition loop. Now as for her builds, it could be a defensive build and it's straightforward. You keep her base kit with either Pavis or Escutcheon. As for offensive build, however, you should get Wings of Mercy and Steady Impact. Here she is basically a blue version of Leaf. My Leaf, Steady Impact, Wings of Mercy is actually good, and I am satisfied with this build. So there is nothing to lose by changing Dragon Wall to Wings of Mercy when needed. So now speaking of her IV, I do not recommend plus res because plus defense allows for different valuable builds. I have opted for plus HP only because for me, I want to make the best use of Kia Staff, and this requires HP matching. So this gives me even more option. But you don't have to do this. If you are not interested into Kia Staff and Return Plus, you don't have to do this. Plus defense, I believe, is probably the best IV for her. As I said, it allows for different builds, and flexibility is what may help a unit age well, especially a Mythic, which cannot benefit from blessings. Even Frazier, who used to be a threat before, I believe she is now a complete joke, a clown. That is due to power creep, among other things. So if you keep plus res, you're locking Seiros to her base kit with Dragon Wall and Mirror Impact. It helps in a stall team, but if you need to change your defense and go more aggressive and to adapt to the ever-changing meta, then maybe you want to use eventually Wings of Mercy, and in this case, Steady Impact is needed, so you have to change Mirror Impact. This is because at least, I would say, at least 90% of the time, AR offense tank consists of melee units hitting the defense stat. This is why plus defense will age better, in my opinion. Range units do better job at sniping weak foes in the back line, but melee units will probably never reach them. They can only target the Omni tank, so they need to stack a lot of defense. Also, Seiros is very, very slow. So slow that Impact will not protect her against Omni tank with quick riposte, seal, which are faster. So plus 3 defense may eventually translate into -6 damage output during combat. Think of it this way: plus defense reduce physical damage, the same way resistance reduce physical damage thanks to Dragon's Wall. But again, Wings of Mercy is a very, very good option for Seiros. And we don't know how well damage reduction will age. We know IS usually release broken skills that create new meta and problems, and later some counters to them. We have many examples to this. Bolt Fighter versus no follow-up, Broadly Fan versus weapons and skills that negate penalties. We have Unity versus now Pleasant weapons. So you should expect more personal weapons and skills in the future, negating damage reduction. Do not focus too much on resistance-based damage reduction. So now let's talk about defense setups. As for offensive AR defense, here we have return trap, anti-isolation, because Sarah is a 7 slot. Even if here you force initiation turn 1, the Mythics will get at least +3 stats. So Leaf, Frazier gets +3 stats, which is very good. As I said before, as most Mythics didn't age well, a triple Mythic setup may benefit the most, as not only they provide a lot of bulk to non-Mythic units, but also Seiros is boosting the 2 other Mythics at her side. Now the downside is that you probably want at least 1 Mirabilis instead of Seiros plus Leaf plus Frazier. And this is because Dancers don't need extra HP and stats. So if you want to use 2 non-mythic dancers, they will get useless stats and HP, which are wasted on them. So I think the most balanced situation is that you have 1 Mirabilis, 1 Seiros, and 1 Mythic, which could be a bonus Mythic. Well, of course, if you use bonus Mythic, only use bonus Mythic if it works well with your defense mechanics. Only if it works well with your defense. So, here for example, you can think that I have Wings of Mercy, a pivot, Gentle Dream providing everyone with ground orders. You may have guidance, so Sarah will eventually move here and get dance, and then moves Julia here. Julia attack. She ends up here, so that means Seiros eventually can jump here and use pivot or swap. A pivot or swap are probably the best assists to have on your melee mythics because it protects the range units capable of sniping, support, and weak mythic units in AR offense. The fact that she has such a good weapon, very defensive stats, makes her a very good wall to protect the range units. So now, let's look at the defensive AR defense. The purpose here is to make you waste turns. 1 armor front line and 1 infantry back line. Move 1 space, 1 space. That means these infantry use a reposition loop so that no one can chase you. In fact, they are not going anywhere. 1 space, reposition, and they are not moving. And reciprocal aid on Seiros and Duma to help both fighter, guaranteed follow-up with Pavis, Escutcheon. These also want Escutcheon and Escutcheon. So here, what looks weird at first glance is that for a stall team, even if with double Duma you destroy both tower, which is a very good thing, both Duma and Seiros provide with plus attack, for a total of +9 attack. This is not what you want. What you want, ideally, is plus defense blessings. Imagine +15 defense on Brave Actor, Memory Selif, Arm. This is crazy. This is really crazy. But even with plus attack, +9 attack, it's possible to work with it. A +9 attack can be good even for stalled team. Against this setup, for example, if you have only one single damage dealer tank, you will waste a lot of turn trying to clear the left side, then going to the middle with everyone having again damage reduction special. So going to the left, then to the middle, and finishing with the right side. So maybe at the end of turn 7, you won't be able to make it. However, if you have a second damage dealer, let's say a mage, then now something interesting could happen. Double Duma Upheaval inflicts a total of 14 damage with +9 attack from Blessing. It helps to one-shot mages if it cannot one-shot, for example, Mautet, Ostian counter, Brave Actor. And it will become even better if you have a Brave Weapon unit on AR defense which work on both phases. Think about Arden, the sword armor Arden. Such crazy high HP, crazy high defense, very low speed, very low res. A mage which cannot one-shot Arden has to eat a Brave Weapon and guaranteed follow-up with his follow-up ring, eventually Ignis. So even Arden with Brave Weapon, his Brave Weapon and follow-up ring, B-skill, he can be a threat against any typical AR offense tank. Because he may use Ignis. You can use Ignis on Arden. Likewise, if you want to use a duo hero, and I strongly suggest a duo hero because duo's hindrance is too good. Now, it's almost mandatory. Instead of Aun, who is not too good, I would say Winter Altina is a super threat. Imagine Winter Altina +9 attack on top of the upheaval, damage turn 1, +9 attack Altina, times pulse, and twin blades. That is crazy strong. Winter Altina will be so great for this team along with Seiros and Duma. So this triple mythic setup stall team should be ideal for units having tons of attack and defense, and eventually at the expense of speed and res, which is not too important, especially res for this setup. So yes, in this situation, Seiros base kit with Mirror Impact, Dragon's Wall can be pretty good. And of course, Pavis. You'll waste a lot of turn trying to kill them. So yeah, that sums up my ideas and recommendations for Seiros. Yeah, thanks for watching.